High Court in Abuja proscribing the indigenous people of Biafra and designating the group a terrorist organization. The announcement is part of requirements imposed on the federal government by the court to finalize the prescription of the group. Lawyer Inibehe Efyong joins us now in the studio to share his thoughts on this very issue. Good to have you here on the News Hour. So yes, Ipob has been gazetted and has been prescribed, but does it really end the agitations in the Southeast? Because some would say this isn't the first time we're having this kind of thing. We had Masob, then Ipob. So does it really end agitations in the Southeast?
Well, the starting point is to even say that it is good that the federal government had to listen to the voice of reason by approaching the courts to ventilate its desire to have Ipob proscribed and designated as a terrorist organization. And it is also good that they have gone further to gazette SEM. Having said that, you cannot kill an agitation by merely saying, stop it, which is what they have done. But prescription is saying, Ipob is now a terrorist organization. Membership of Ipob is now a criminal offense. However, the truth of the matter is that we have to agree that the crisis in the Southeast cannot be resolved through the courts because it is an agitation that predates the current administration.
All right.
It is an agitation that has been ongoing for a very long time. And as long as people have that perception of marginalization, wrongly or rightly, you cannot foreclose that agitation by simply going to the courts.
Okay, now, so where does this leave Ipob, who are trying to challenge the whole process, saying that the order was made without jurisdiction?
Because Ipob has filed a motion in court challenging the propriety of the order of the Federal High Court, I will be very careful in my comments. But suffice it to say that by virtue of Section 2 of the Terrorism Prevention Act of 2011, as amended in 2013, once a judge of the Federal High Court, as we have seen in this case, has granted an application by the Attorney General of the Federation declaring a group a terrorist organization, any person who is seen to be a member of that group is liable to imprisonment for 20 years. And I hope members of Ipob are aware of this. However, we have made the point that that order is subject to judicial review. There are questions the court will have to decide. Lawyers have even questioned whether Ipob itself, not being a juristic person, not being registered under any law, can be sued in its name. People have always said, can you proscribe them without hearing them? Fair hearing. Is it possible to say, you have curtailed my right to freedom of association without listening to me, without entertaining my arguments, to know whether I am actually a terrorist organization or not? People have also asked, what really makes them a terrorist organization? Is it just the words of Nnamdi Kanu? Is it what he says? Can we really say that Ipob has a policy of violence? Can we really say Ipob has engaged in organized violence? Please note, organized violence, not snippets of reactions to clamp down by security agencies. And interestingly, even the United States government says under their law, they don't consider Ipob a terrorist organization. But we must caution that the decisive test is what the Terrorism Prevention Act says, which is why it is good that they have gone to court to challenge the constitutionality, the legality, and the propriety of the order of the Federal High Court. Because I strongly believe that they have the right to be heard. They have the right to be heard. There is nothing wrong, in my opinion, in saying, I want a country out of Nigeria. I want a country to be created for me out of Nigeria. Maybe it is the manner of going about it that is the issue, which is why the Federal High Court will have to listen to them. They will be given the opportunity to review the evidence submitted by the federal government. Because the fact that the federal government has said Ipob should be proscribed, Ipob should be declared a terrorist organization, does not on its own suffices that that application should be granted. They must have adduced evidence before the court. They must have given reasons for making that application, which Ipob will have the opportunity of responding to.
All right, let's look at the issue of marginalization, which was the reason for the creation of this group Ipob and also Masob, some years back. Now, how much longer do you think this government can suppress this issue of marginalization, saying that it has taken the cue of taking these groups to court, labeling them as terrorist organization, and, you know, all that it has done in order to, you know, create peace in the country. How much longer can the government suppress these marginalization issues?
The agitation, the clamor about marginalization is not peculiar to the Southeast. We have to make that point clearly. It is not peculiar to the Igbos. Every disadvantaged Nigerian is marginalized, whether in the north, whether in the west, whether in the south-south. Marginalization is not peculiar to any geopolitical zone. It appears when people make reference to marginalization, it is political marginalization that they are talking about, matters pertaining to appointment, you know. But it has to be noted that the structure of this country is not working. That is why it is funny when people say, why are they agitating? As long as we have a system where every election year, every 4 years, someone emerges a president and that person is seen to represent a section of the country. Like, for example, it is believed this is the turn of the North. We are expecting the turn of the South after 2019. Once you continue to have this kind of political structure, there is no way you wouldn't have agitation. There is no way you wouldn't have people complain about marginalization.
So what's the way forward out of this?
Which is why the federal government should listen to those who are calling for restructuring.
Okay.
So that we can have a system that works. We can have a system that is all inclusive. We can have a system that allows Nigerians to express themselves without prejudice.
All right, you said earlier that the issues that Ipob is agitating for cannot be resolved in the courts.
No, it cannot. It cannot.
And so how can it be resolved?
It cannot. It has to be a political solution. As the lawyer, I know, and as a Nigerian, I know that what Ipob is fighting for, you cannot kill a spirit by going to court, because the agitation is spiritual. Nnamdi Kanu has been able to inspire people. He has
when
been
you
able
say
to
spiritual, how do you mean?
No, it is. It is because when people strongly, it's an emotional expression, that is the point I'm making. It's an emotional expression. And you can't kill emotion through litigation. You can only kill emotion through dialogue. If people are saying we are grave, what stops the government from talking to them? There was a time in this country that people were clamoring that the federal government should have a dialogue with Boko Haram. There was even a time that the current leadership favored that opinion. So why can't you talk to them? Nnamdi Kanu is not a ghost. You can talk to them, call them to the round table and say, what are you asking for? We can't allow you to divide the country. Most of us are opposed to the activities of Ipob, but you have to listen to them. Why not call them and talk to them? Why not call them and engage them? That is the only way that you can solve this kind of crisis. Take how many Ipob members can they prosecute? How many? How many people can they prosecute? Even the judicial system cannot accommodate it. If you say you want to prosecute members of Ipob, you are looking at thousands of people. You are looking at thousands of people. How many of them can you take to court?
Obviously, not everyone.
You can't. So why not engage the leadership of the organization and talk sense into them? I believe they will listen.
And you think the government is ready to do that?
It doesn't appear the government is willing, but eventually they will have to, because except we are just postponing the evil day, eventually you will have to talk to not only Ipob, but every sector of this country that believes that they have some grievances which should be addressed.
All right. All right. Ini Behe Efyong, lawyer, many thanks for your time on TVC News Hour.